item up, but today I want to take this and review it. Real quickly, let's go over. The reason I do this, that I've given you a little bit of a background, is I want you to learn it, and it's kind of like all the things, the many things that we do as far as, well, if we started out with Noah, and Shem was the man that the tribe of Israel came from. And so if you remember, we had Ham, Shem, and Japheth. Ham settled in Africa and the Canaanites. Japheth settled in Europe and the East. And Shem settled more in the Middle East area. And Shem down to Eber, righteous Eber. And then we went down several more, down to Terah. And that was Abram's father, right? So from Terah, he had 3 sons. And Haran and Nahor and Abram. And as we study this, Haran dies after leaving 3 children, 2 girls, Ishak and Milcah, and Lot. Milcah married Nahor, and they had Bethuel. And I don't know what happened with this lady. Lot, once his father died, was given to Abram. He pretty much adopted Lot into his family. Now that's important, and especially today in our lesson, because Lot's going to come back into the picture. And you have to understand, when we get into the separation of Abram and Lot, you need to understand that Abram probably looked at Lot not like a brother, but like a son that he took under his wings and raised for his brother. And so when they leave, that's going to have a little more effect if you can look at it like a son separating from their father and going out on their own. And of course, Bethuel had Laban and Rebekah. And of course, we know Rebekah married Isaac. And then Laban, they went for Jacob. He got his wives, and the 12 tribes of Israel come out of Jacob. His name was changed to Israel. That's all I'm going to go. But knowing the genealogy here a little bit helps us as we study. When you hear a name, Nahor did not go. Actually, Nahor stayed down, I think, in Iraq area and come back up later, up into the far north, into Haran. I always wondered when I studied that, where they moved to Haran. Haran was dead. He died in the old country. And I always wondered why, if that town was not maybe named after him when Terah moved up there. Terah and the family were idol worshipers. And last week in chapter 12, we learned in verse number 1, God says, get out. Get thee out. Remember? And basically he's telling Abraham, get away from the family. I want you to be mine. You're going to follow me, and I'm going to give you everything you look at. So as we study this today, just understand that Lot's going to come back into the picture and is going to make a decision that's not going to be beneficial to him. So you're getting it? You'll be able to tell me this as I write it. because I want it to become a part of you. It helps you when you study to know some genealogies, because you're going to get names, and and if you didn't know this, Lot would just be another person. Brother, whatever, just somebody that hooked up with Abram. But he's a lot more than that. And with the death of your brother, and Abram saying, I'll take him, and took him into his own as if he was one of his own sons, which Abram didn't have children. I mean, he was 75 when he left, had no children with Sarai, and now it'll be 100 before he has children. So that's a little bit of that. All right, let's go to verse number 1, and we will pick it up there. Verse number 1, chapter 13, it says, and Abram went up out. These are important words. When it went to Egypt, what did it say? He went down to Egypt. Anytime you're going into the world, you're going downhill. And going back, he's headed back up now. Now, geographically, where Bethel was around 3,500 square feet. 35. The altitude was about 3,500 feet, where Egypt, in that area they went, was pretty much sea level. And so they would have been going down that way, and he's coming up out of Egypt. But it's also looking at it spiritually. He's going back to Bethel, where he needs to be. Out of Egypt, he and his wife and all that he had, and Lot went with him. So Lot is into the south. Lot is now brought back into the narrative. And there's a reason for that, as we're going to see as we study this. And then it says, and Abram was very rich in silver and cattle and silver and gold. And he went on his journey from the south even to Bethel, unto the place where his tent had been at the beginning, between Bethel and Ai, unto the place of the altar which he had made there at the first. And there Abram called on the name of the Lord. So Abram has now come back to the house of God. Remember, Bethel in the Bible means house of God. And so what has happened now is Abram had left the house of God. When he goes down into Egypt, there's a famine in the land. And as he goes down into Egypt, he's going down there. Actually, a lot of this is like the children of Israel when Jacob went to Egypt, but they stayed too long. Jacob actually had permission from God to go, but Abram, we don't see where he had permission from God to go. And not only that, why would he have to tell them his wife was his sister? If it was God had pleased God for him to go, or it was God's will that he went. But while he's there, Abraham had went to Egypt, and while he's there, they were giving him a lot of things because they liked his wife, and they were going to make her the wife of Pharaoh, and they had set her up to get the instructions and all the necessary things for purification. And God began to pour out plagues upon Pharaoh, and he realized, wait a minute, this didn't happen before Abram come, and now that Abram's here and this woman is here, something's wrong. And so they've got that taken care of. And I think there's a part of this that we're going to see here that is how God blessed his man, even though he wasn't where he was supposed to be. We're going to see here in verse number 1, he went up out of Egypt. He left Egypt. He moved up back into Israel. It's funny, as I'm reading the commentaries, none of the commentaries talk about Israel. They all talk about Palestine. I was thinking about that as I was studying there. Well, they moved back into Palestine. They moved, and well, why would that be? Yeah, from Israel's name was of the land of Israel was changed at 135 A.D. under Adrian, the Roman emperor, he was, well, I'm not going to say it, but he hated Israel, and not only that, he went back into Jerusalem and